Hello everyone and thanks for watching Edupedia videos. In the last video, we have seen the element of compensation known as variable pay and we have seen its advantages. Now we will see the types of variable pay plans. What are the types of variable pay plans? They can be categorized by the level at which the performance is defined, measured and rewarded as individual, group or organization wide. They can also be differentiated by the time frame associated with measuring and rewarding performance, that is short term or long term. Finally, they can be classified according to the form of award, cash, equity or recognition. We will see the individual plan. Individual plans are the ones that define, measure and reward performance at the individual level. When individual performance is the focus, there are several variable pay approaches that motivate and reward at the individual level. The oldest type of incentive plan is the output based, that is piece rate plan that rewards productivity. Another type of output plan is the sales commission, which ties pay to the volume of sales produced by an individual. Anyone who has seen the classic film of Lucy and Ethel on the candy assembly line or Charlie Chaplin in modern times may view the piece rate systems as exploitative, but where the output is under the control of the individual and where quality can be controlled, this type of plan is highly motivating and produces a direct link between pay and performance. Although most frequently used in production environments, output plans are also found in white-collar settings where the production is like claims as processing in insurance or proof operations in banking. The key to success is being able to measure the output accurately and to ensure that the individual is able to control production. If material availability, machine downtime or dependence on others are issues, it complicates gaining acceptance that the plan is fair. Most plans call for the payment of a base rate, that is wage, with incentive pay kicking in above some threshold level of production, that is a break-even point. Break-even point is the point at which the employee has earned the basic salary. Basing variable pay on the attainment of specific objectives is a widely used approach. This is often termed as MBO, that is Management by Objectives approach. The objectives can be quantitative, qualitative or time-based and multiple objectives can be used. The most difficult measurement challenges are encountered when setting objectives at equivalent levels of difficulty across units and occupations, as well as identifying objectives that are both under the control of individual and that can be objectively evaluated. There are challenges associated with assigning relative importance to goals as well as keeping track of progress against expectations on an interim basis, so individuals can keep score and redirect when appropriate. Individual plans work best in the context where individuals work relatively independent of each other and have large amounts of discretion about how they do their work. In some cases, the technology dictates the individual measurements, that is inbound or outbound voice center operators who can handle discrete transactions with the customers alone. The cash awards also form the part of individual awards. They are determined based on the performance appraisal rating, while wage adjustments are tied to both the performance rating and the relative position of the employee's base pay in the range for the job. Sometimes individual plans also can be a bad fit in units where employees are highly interdependent and when a wide variety of knowledge or skill is required and no one individual has all it takes to produce the desired result. In many countries where the culture is oriented towards collectivist thinking and behavior, individual incentives may be viewed as inappropriate. The second type of plan is group plan. It is the plan that defines, measures and reward performance at the group, team or unit level. There are several types of group plans, and the most effective plan will be the one that best fits the specific context. Productivity or cost-based plans are often called as gain-sharing plans. The name fits the concept. If productivity is increased, the value of the gain will be shared between the employees and the organization. These plans are typically based on formulas that consider cost, resource use, or productivity ratios to determine awards. Since they are most often used in stable environments and with non-management employees, the payout period is frequently quarterly or even monthly, and there is usually an employee suggestion process in place in order that the employees can influence their destiny. When the measures are financial and a profit center is the level of measurement, these plans are sometimes made into a profit sharing plan. When multiple measures are used and they include qualitative criteria, they are called as performance sharing or goal sharing. Increasingly, the work of employees is project based. This has always been the case with professionals who work in the IT sector. Variable pay plans tied to projects have become more common, encouraged by the development of project management technology, and these plans can be tied to individual incentives as well as group incentives. Group recognition is a form of reward that can have positive motivational impact. Pitting groups against the other groups may create a positive competition. Assuming their work is not interdependent and celebrating the results of a group can increase its cohesiveness. Team-based incentives have been talked about a great deal in the last decade, but it is more important to determine what type of team plan is being developed for and what kind of plan will motivate the team to produce the desired results. Work teams are units that perform the work of the organization, and they are staffed by people who work in the team full-time and who are permanently assigned. This type of team can be rewarded using the typical group plans. A project team is usually made up of members who work either full-time or part-time in the team and who are assigned not only for the duration of project. This argues for a project-based variable pay plan, particularly for those who are assigned full-time during their involvement. Parallel teams are usually made up of employees who participate in addition to performing their full-time job and who may be assigned for a short time. This type of team is often called as a task force. It is common to reward task force members with recognition or modest financial rewards, given that their compensation is tied to their performance of their permanent assignment. The third type of plan is organization-wide plan. It is the plan that defines, measures and rewards the performance at the organizational wide level. There are two major types of plans. One that provides rewards in cash, and second that uses the stock or other forms of equity ownership. Profit sharing plans share a portion of profits over a threshold level that provides a fair return to shareholders. Distribution of profit sharing pool is almost always egalitarian, with employees sharing an equal percentage of their base pay or even receiving the same dollar amounts. Profit sharing plans have been used in the US MNCs mostly, and their primary purpose has been to create a shared destiny amongst employees, thereby motivating them to align their efforts and to focus on organizational profitability. Organizations have become preferred employers because of these plans, but many were qualified, deferred plans and serve to provide retirement income and estate building. Performance sharing plans are a variation of profit sharing model. They differ in that they use multiple measures, many of which may not be financial. They can be customer measures, quality measures, and so on. The recent rise in the popularity of the balanced scorecard concept has made these plans more popular, since their criteria are a scorecard for measuring organizational performance. Stock or equity-based plans differ from cash-based plans in several ways. First, they inherently have a strong term time frame for realizing value. Also, they vary in value at least partially based on external factors rather than organizational performance. The equity markets create the wealth produced by stock through price appropriation. So, organizational performance may only determine how much stock is distributed and what is eventually worth to the holder. Stock purchase plans gives employees an opportunity to buy stock, often at a preferred price. The another type of plan is the award target. These award targets are often tiered, with senior management having the highest variable award potential expressed as a percentage of salary, reflecting their greater impact on performance and their ability to absorb more contingency in their direct compensation package. The alternatives for allocating awards to individuals are numerous, and each sends a different message, like equal percentage of base pay rate, equal percentage of range midpoint, equal percentage of base pay rate up to a maximum, varied based on organizational level or grade level, equal dollars to each participant, equal dollars per hour worked in a period, varied based on individual performance. Let us see different trends and current issues in variable pay. First, we will see the trends. There are pronounced trends relative to the use of variable pay as well as number of emerging issues. Actually, trends do not dictate the direction an organization should take in their variable pay strategy or program, but there is a peril in monitoring what others are doing and determining why they are doing and what they are doing. More organizations are using variable pay as a significant element in their total rewards package. This trend is particularly pronounced in US MNCs, since usage of broad-based program has been much prevalent than in any other part of the world. As mentioned earlier, variable compensation plans have number of strengths when an organization must compete for critical skills and when it must cope with a turbulent environment that makes revenues much more variable. Alongside this trend is the expansion of eligibility for variable pay. For decades, significant variable pay was reserved for executives and sales personnel. This is changing dramatically now, to the point that organizations will ask why any employee group is not included rather than skeptically asking why they should be. This will have a profound effect on the people cost structure and may provide some insulation from the dramatic downsizing which many organizations are using to align their cost with the revenues. It will also better equip the organizations to use the contractors and project personnel to do much of the work traditionally done by the permanent employees. A requirement for success in many industries today is also a better variable pay plan. It may also change the nature of employment relationship substantially to one in which expectation of longevity becomes however long the relationship is, it is mutually beneficial. Fewer variable pay plans celebrate aging, and thus performance has become the dominant driver of rewards. Multiple plans are becoming more widespread, principally because measuring performance at multiple levels is more common. One of the best ways to ensure performance at individual level results in the performance at the group level, and that the benefits also accrue at the organizational level, is to design variable pay plan that emphasize the need to manage performance across all the levels. Stock-based plans are increasing in frequency, notwithstanding the skepticism prompted by the performance market from few decades till today. The belief that being an owner can motivate one to behave like an owner is one reason for the increased popularity of broad-based stock plans. Another is the fact that equity markets fund employee rewards through price appreciation, and that the organization does not have to write a check, thereby impacting earnings. As employee ownership becomes more extensive, the governance of organizations may well change as well. A possibility is not lost on governmental regulations or investors. Let us see the issues. Global strategies for variable pay are being formulated as organizations do business, or at least they compete globally. The key issue is whether these plans are universal or whether there is a localized adaptation consistent with the global principles, and that should become the preferred approach. The final issue which we have to discuss in the variable compensation is about stock-based variable options. These plans are rapidly becoming more prevalent, and they tend to cover a broader spectrum of employees today when they are adopted. If employees view themselves as hired hands, only there for these years they would prefer to opt for stock-based plans. However, with the adoption of broad-based stock plans, the added responsibility is wasted on the employers to prepare employees for stock ownership. The tax and the legal implications are very significant, but the increasing price volatility in equity markets is even more impactful. Those who are at or near the subsistence level tend to have little discretionary income, and they can afford little risk. Mortgage lending officers still have a very narrow view as to what constitutes income, even relative to cash plans with a consistent history of payouts. Stock plans raise another issue about what the employee will be able to portray as a part of income or even personal worth. It is therefore critical for the organization considering the use of stock plans to do the education related to economics necessary to prepare the participants and to ensure they have adequate resources to make ownership and positive experience rather than a personal disaster. We have seen the topic of variable pay in much detail. For other elements of compensation, we will see in another video. Thanks for watching. Thank you.